Welcome back to Capital Academy. Capital Academy is all about working with early stage and startup companies as they walk down the path of building and growing and developing their businesses, but especially for those companies that are looking to capitalize their ventures. Finding capital and knowing what to do and how to do is the biggest area that most early stage and startup companies are looking to understand. And we on Capital Academy are really just looking to provide you with that information and from the standpoint of other entrepreneurs that are walking down that path. So today I'd like to introduce you to Alexis Coates, whose business is Black Business Review, and he'll be talking to us about what he's doing to grow and build his business. And added, we have Christopher Bell III with Stealth-onomics, and he does a lot of coaching and speaking to those same startup and early stage companies, and I am looking forward to the conversation that we'll be able to have on this particular topic. And Alexis, I'd love you to start, number one, to let the audience know what it is that you're doing, but then to really talk about how you're looking to build and grow your business.
Okay, so as a general matter, Black Business Review is a news website that provides news to minorities around the globe. And we provide those both business, politics, some entertainment, and we provide people on the move. People on the move are people who are doing special things in the community that may not always get picked up by mainstream, but we'll also give you a shared interest in seeing what they're doing. And as people grow in their careers, publish books and different things like that, Black Business Review goal is to reach the masses, right? And now there's a shift in this. There's a shift historically. There's been paper, and paper is still a good environment. It's not a bad thing. It's just a different shift we're experiencing now. Post 2010-12, now we're in this heavy mobile environment, right? Yes. So everyone has a mobile phone. 20 years ago, everyone didn't have a mobile phone in their hand, but now everyone has a mobile phone. So that's a whole new audience we are looking to attract now from a media perspective, from a minority media's perspective, and to sort of get that sort of attention and energy going, just like we did with the paper business, both newspaper, both magazines and things like that. We want to grow out. Now we want to really grow out the online presence, right, from a minority perspective. Not just African Americans, right? We're flexible. Both Hispanics and India they got 1 billion people coming online, right? So we're open to growing in these markets across the board.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
That's
outstanding. You know, one of the challenges in being able to develop content is having that content relevant to the market space, that unique niche with its own culture, its own dynamics, its own requirements and nuances. Can you share how you are going about in your segmentation to deliver content that's both relevant and compelling to those particular niches that you just mentioned? Yes.
So what's really important, we have data coming in on a daily basis from AP, right? Associated Press. Associated Press, data comes in and we run stories on a daily basis. Right. Now also, then we have throughout the US, we have people who are editing stories and publishing stories for us, right? Sort of freelancers, sort of think about the Huffington Post model. They're posting stories and we're running business, politics, and different story, entertainment, things that's going on in a community, and then we write the same thing with the people on the move. Right. So we're pulling data from a place that's always have a large ocean of data that comes in on a regular. So we have to determine what fits into our space from a minority perspective and what information do we want to share out to the community, and just also remembering that they used to say historically, and that we learned in college, was that the media was the fourth power, right? And you see the coming age of the presidential race and other things, you come to find out now media is now the #1 power, but legislative and the other powers, right? So now you have a different grip and you're reaching people through mobile. Now it's a different world we live in. So now when we get this curated data coming, we curate, organize it quickly, and we have it on our platform, we disseminate it in more than one site. Now talking about growth, we are looking to grow a media company for more than just Black Business Review, BBR, right? We're looking for other sources, other nationalities that need information, business and politics and entertainment and other opinion pieces. We're looking to disseminate information to them.
Right.
Did you find, and some of this question is probably naturally because you started the business, but what was it that led you to want to do news for minorities when a lot of this news was out there anyway? What was the driving force to make it minority focused?
So historically, what we're dealing with now is, I noticed quite a few minority sources were still doing paper, and paper is still a good game to be in, right? It's not a bad game, but some people are shifting some of their interest from not just paper, they're doing media. But from a technology standpoint, I'm a technologist, right? So I understand how to build platforms to bring data in, and I figured that with this new platform that I can present to the world, I would just focus on disseminating information from an online basis from multiple sources, not just one. Black Business Review is the sort of foundation of what we're doing, right? And now we're looking to build this out at much broader context at this point.
Right. You know, Alexis, when I hear your concept, it sort of throws me back a little bit when I think about how the television set used to be the medium by which we were able to ascertain what was going on in the world and what was relevant, to us, as citizens and users. Today, it seems like the mobile phone is that television set, but unless somebody's broadcasting, it doesn't matter, right? And so I use a similar analogy, and I'd like you to piggyback on this, where the channels now are not ABC, CBS, and NBC. The channels are Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and the like.
Yes.
And people are dialing into those channels using the mobile platform. So my question is, when you look at those multiple platforms, what is it that you have to do differently from platform to platform to capture and hold a subscribed or a new customer?
Right. So recently I was just reading a report that 60 Minutes also put out. Now you have software and both news outlets and medias that they're predicting that in 2019-20, the world is going to be built around video, right? But we're looking at video where it used to be video with, say, 400 words. People are not interested in 400 words anymore. They want 15 words or less. They want 15 words or less, they want video, and they don't want to look at it for more than 30 or 40 seconds. I want to look at this video, and I want to see what's going on in Syria. I want to see what's going on with black business funding in Chicago and Texas. I want to see it, but I only want to see it fast, and I want it to keep moving, right? Still photos is nice. That's the beautiful thing, but the world now is shifting. The economy is shifting now. It's shifting into a video, digital media world, right? Everyone has a camera now, right? Be careful, right? Because they'll videotape you and they'll periscope you. You'll go live quickly, and your world can turn around instantly. So the shift we're looking for is to bring more video to our audience and bring more news to them at a faster rate on their mobile phones. So as you say, ABC, NBC, and all the big networks, they still do they share, right? But now this medium, like I think Snapchat and Twitter just did a deal with the NFL for Thursdays, right? It's a huge deal, right? $50 million. They're not even charging for it. They're giving it to you, right? But guess what? You have to be clear about this. You, the user, are not really paying. What they want money is the advertisers to give them a demographic. Black business, minorities, we giving you a demographic. That's the world. The world is about giving people a demographic. And if you can give them a demographic, you can build a business model out around that.
So when you hear the conversations relative to banner ads are not the place anymore, your point is they are if you have the demographics to follow it.
Yes, you
gotta give a reason for advertisers to want to be there.
To come to there, If you can give them, like there's all sorts of analytic tools, Google Analytics and other tools. We run some proprietary tools too, but what's more important is are you getting that age group? For instance, African Americans, the median age for African Americans in the U.S. is 35 years old. Right? That's given. The larger majority of African Americans are based between Connecticut and Georgia, right? That's where everyone is, right? And if you can target, and then you start targeting based on salary, based on what sort of careers they're picking, what schools that they're going to. Now you got a target focus, and if you can drive target ads to them specifically, let's say you're doing healthcare, right? you targeting healthcare. You're giving them healthcare ads, your healthcare careers, and things like that. Now you can bring in that healthcare provider to provide them content directly to what they need. Now
Right.
you're selling a clear stake demographic
Right.
to a clear provider, and the user's not really providing anything. You're providing them content, right? You're giving them content.
Right.
But what you're giving the advertiser, you're giving them a specific targeted
Right.
quantity user to see their content and get access,
Right.
and then they can sell them things from that.
I know you had also spoken about events
Yes.
being part of your
Yes.
platform. Now, are these events that you're developing, or are these other people events that you're utilizing in a similar fashion as bringing in the ads?
Right, so it's sort of a joint effort. So right now we do a dual thing, right? We have people who put together a full event and say, hey, would you like to put Black Business Review on it? Yes, that's one way. Then we have people on the move. And so now we're considering now to have named a person of the year from the people on the move, right? So we're developing our own
Gotcha.
box, right? Then you look at BBR Media, right? You do interviews and things like that, right? So you're developing events out of some of articles that you're running, or people of the year and things like that. You might have businesses you've been doing stories on, and all of a sudden it could transfer into an event. You're giving awards and things like that, but what that drives is branding, right? You're really driving the branding and getting the name out, keeping the name going across the board.
I'm looking forward to my picture being on the people on the move. I just keep hearing people on the move.
It's gonna come. It has to come, right?
It is.
It does.
It
You know,
is,
Alexis,
definitely.
with the tsunami of data and information that
Yes,
is
it is.
actually coming fast, hard, large, and like, one of the questions that I wanted to have you help me with point of clarification is that you're securing data from multiple sources that is already curated or is uncurated, or are you doing the curation? And if you are doing the curation, how do you make a decision on what goes out to whom and when?
So the first part of your question, just kind
Yes,
of
sir.
break it out into three parts.
Please.
First part of your question is first, we are getting a tsunami amount of data,
Yes.
right? Stories come in tons and tons and tons at a time, right? But we run a scanner, like a Twitter scanner, right?
Okay.
And we see what are the hottest things going on.
Right.
Okay.
And we focus to that world, right? And we drive that world on. We see a shooting somewhere. We see Donald Trump doing something, and we see articles come out.
Right.
Now we see 5,000. Now that article cuts down to 1,000. Now specifically, he's talking about a very specific country that dwindles down quickly. Now we can then determine which story we want to run, and we'll get traction because we're watching the feeds too. We're watching feeds on a regular basis. So that's one thing we do to kind of pick stories. And then we also want to pick stories where people don't get highlighted on a standard basis. They're doing really good things. You have Calvin Butler, CEO of BG&E, right? He gets some mainstream pickup, but also Black Business Review would run that article, right? There's some staffers that work in the White House that are doing really good work, lawyers, right? And it may not get picked up by MSNBC or some of these other sources, but Black Business Review will also profile you there too. And we can profile you on more than one platform too.
Right.
So it's pretty exciting.
We do need spaces to see what others are doing.
Oh,
that
yeah.
yes,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I am a cable news junkie,
Right. Yeah.
and I can tell you how limited my information is because on cable news it's the same story,
Yeah.
hour after hour
On every
after
station.
hour.
Right. Every
It's on
station.
every station,
They run the
and
same
you wonder
pictures, yeah.
sometimes, isn't there other things going on out there?
Yeah.
If every station is covering the same thing, just with a little bit of a different slant.
Yep.
Right.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I mean, one of the things I really was excited about was obviously the space, the content,
Yes,
and,
yes.
and leveraging the technology
Yes.
that drives the information to an audience that is growing, increasing, and more influential.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
that's huge. The thing as an investor I'm interested in is what's the shelf life on that?
Okay, good.
How fast does this take to a point of where I'm able to bear fruit and see an ROI? And what are the factors you believe are involved in making that happen?
That's a great question. So that kind of leads us to, let's say someone's strategy, NBC Universal strategy is to grow media out. And that is one of their major strategies. It's like 40% of their growth. That's where they put money into. It may It may have $13 billion to put into media growth, right?
Right.
So we have roughly, kind of going lightly here from listening to attorneys, and I can hear it in my head, be careful about giving out too much information.
Absolutely.
That's too validating, right? So we have, let's choose a broader scope, 5 to 8 years to come up with a maximum valuation, reach valuation, right? And you come in, you first money in, we're looking to exit at a certain point, right?
Right.
And when we exit, then your investment then fruitful, right, within our investment. So that strategy is that. Now, how do you maintain that world, right? How do you maintain your burn rate? How do you maintain continually raising money through some ads and through some other vehicles? But at the end of the day, we have an exit strategy. We don't intend to stay in this world forever, but we intend to look at an acquisition strategy from other mediums that could fit under the BBR brand and constantly build up this demographic to give to NBC Universal, because they need a very specific target audience they're looking for, right? And they say this guy has this specific target audience, and he has the numbers we're looking for, and we pay close attention to it. So just real quick, one way you want to look at it is Facebook, when they reached, I always phantom in my head about how did Facebook have a $100 billion valuation. I see people make up these sort of formulas for valuations. So Facebook had 1 billion users, and the users have a value. In this market, they start at $40 and they go up. Facebook value they use at roughly $100. $100 times 1 billion give you a $100 billion valuation. They raised $80 billion on the first week, right? So we have a certain number, not which I don't know, I'm loose to it, but the number is a certain number we're trying to reach for the investor, and we disclose that when we do get to that point.
Right.
We tell the investor, like, hey, we're trying to reach this evaluation price. We are looking to get, once we get to this point, then we cap out and then we decide to look at other strategies, exit strategies and things like that.
But I think it's important for others to understand, and you said a little bit about it, I'm just going to expand on it a little bit, that I think it's significant to understand the value of growth by acquisition as opposed to organic growth, and organic growth being, growing one by one, right? Versus, acquisition, being able to buy other companies in a similar, complementary, or maybe even a totally different space, but if that's where your plan is. And I think it's interesting when I often, in a lot of the teaching and training I do, I talk to companies about you grow to your exit.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right. So when you start what you're doing,
Yeah.
you have to know where you're going in order to build things the right way. And I think what you're doing is a perfect example of that.
Yes.
You started this business, you know where you want to go, and you're building in those building blocks that get you to that
exit. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. Have a clear exit at the end.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's significant.
Yep.
And the team around you. You want to give us a little conversation about the team around you?
Yeah, it's very interesting. So primarily we have a general counsel. I have a lot of lawyers. It's not me. I mean, yes, I do. It's a lot of attorneys wrapped around the table, right? We have a general counsel. Then we got a chief strategist officer, which is in New York, Harvey Newkirk, which is he's a strategy guy. Then we got Derek. This guy got some experience, and Lorette, we're trying to work out some private placement. And then we have some other people from a CFO with real investment experience, right? And we happen to have some really smart people at the table, right? High network, hard working, people who have done this before, right? That has helped me and gave me some real guidance on what it takes to build this project out. And they see an end. I have another lady, Sharon Page. She's putting together events. She puts together all these events, and we build them out. So we have a pretty solid team of really smart people who have done this before, right? Not historically done by African Americans, right? And there are African Americans that put together investment sort of firms, but we're a media company, and that's our goal, to build out this media company and build it out to the point of an exit strategy at some point.
Right. As a media company, when did you start and actually call yourself a media company? or did it start as something else and evolve to become a media
No,
company?
this started 1 year before. We've been around for 9 months. BBR has
Okay.
Black Business Review. But a year before that, we'd already started technically planning an exit strategy before we launched. We knew where we were going. We knew where the door was when we came in.
Right.
We knew the back door was 3 flights up, 15 steps back, going out the back door. Yes.
Excellent.
So as we begin to wind down,
Yes.
is there anything that you would like to say that can speak to from where you are right now for what your next step is? What is it that you'd want to say, ask, tell
Yes.
to be for where you are
right.
to the next step?
Right. So as a general matter, we are looking at other online media sources without being real specific, and we have some solid targets that we're interested from, as you spoke about, from acquisition standpoint, right? Not just organic, which is it's just you can do that, but we have quite a few number of targets that we intend to bring in, but
Right.
it's some negotiation things. We want to build out some additional events, and we really want to play around in the media space, right? We think that can drive branding, heavily branding, right? And help with the whole capital raise, the whole campaign of getting media exposure, giving
Right.
media exposure to
Right.
people. So we're interested in building out our mobile application and getting that content directly to people on their mobile device, not just your phones, but your laptops, everything, getting information to you quickly, right? As soon as it happens, I don't want to be releasing Donald Trump or someone or whoever speaking about something and then delivering it to you 2 days later.
Right.
We want to get to you in real time, right? We want to bring you content to your devices in real time. And we intend to do that with our management team. We intend to build that out. And it's going to take some work, but we're cut out for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. 9 months is not a lot of time.
No,
to
it
be in
isn't.
business, right? You know,
Unless you're in the digital age.
Unless you're unless you're pregnant, right?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Oh, yeah. Well, there you go.
He said, "Oh well."
Oh well, right? Yeah, right. Unless right. But you have been pregnant with an idea that's been birthed.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
out in at this stage. You have any recommendations for those people who have a lot of great ideas? And we come across a lot of great ideas all the time, but we find that the innovation, the idea is not the big deal. The secret sauce is actually the execution.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
So
yes.
there's the IP, and then there's the IP for the IP. Right? What would you share with folks about the execution piece? What does it take to actually GSD, get stuff done?
Right. So generally speaking, you should organize yourself to generally complete some step of whatever you're doing, right? Don't anticipate someone's going to come save you. You're stuck in the middle of the ocean. There's no rescue boat coming.
Right.
It's not going to happen. Start swimming. So start swimming is build out maybe the first 2 pages of your website, right? Make sure you have some sort of tool to capture it, just minimally their email address, right? Complete one step, right? Getting things done, just do one step at a time and try to go full circle and do it right? And I think I'll speak to this, like I'm sort of like an agile person where I can only negotiate a contract with 1-2 people at a time. I can't negotiate with 15 people the way things are, especially with the high level of people I'm discussing and having discussions with. I try to complete one and then move to the next, right? But make sure you complete it. Because some of us will try 15 different things, right? And then you all over the place and you're not completing anything, right? It's this stuff, loose ends is just hanging loose all out there, right? So do that one, close it out completely. Now it's finished and you have completed something. Move to the next, complete it. So you just keep growing it out. So I suggest you sort of have your plan written out and then work your plan one day at a time and expect that there will be mishaps along the way, but you just got to keep moving and just don't expect that maybe someone will come rescue you. But more than likely, you're going to have to keep swimming. On your own.
Absolutely.
So if you keep swimming, at some point you're going to reach the shore.
Right.
Hopefully you don't.
Great wisdom. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you so much, Alexis.
Thank you very
We
much. Thank you for the
appreciate
invite.
having you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for the
again.
invite.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for this episode of Capital Academy. We hope there was something that you heard that resonated for you and will allow you to take that next step, execute, Move forward. Don't stand still. Don't be stagnant. And don't think someone is going to come save you. It's wonderful if they do, but what happens if they don't? We look forward to seeing you the next time on Capital Academy.